Posthumously by Humongous. Quote, "The illusion of freedom will continue as long as it's profitable to continue the illusion. At the point where the illusion becomes too expensive to maintain, they will just take down the scenery, they will pull back the curtains, they will move the tables and chairs out of the way, and you will see the brick wall at the back of the theater." Unquote. Frank Zappa. We've become delusional, speaking but saying nothing, existing in a quote-unquote communication age in which we're unable to communicate. We feel we're unparalleled, yet we're the sole genus on the verge of decimating nearly every other species on Earth, including us. From an impartial eye, humanity isn't superlative at all, but a nasty plague at this point. Such doesn't have to be. Look at the technology we've developed, even under this horrific system enslaving us. We're capable of amazing things. Instead, we choose to follow quote-unquote leaders who are nothing more than liars selling us a bill of rotten goods. Rather than using our intellect to take us to the next universe, we allow these quote-unquote commanders to coerce us into creating our own demise and falling in love with our self-inflicted genocide. When was the last time you saw a popular video game based upon pure space exploration as opposed to murder? We're brainwashed to believe that killing each other is more exciting than uncovering the mysteries of this multiverse. Quote, "People watch the news, say CNN, Fox, or NBC, and they get to a point where they can't take it anymore. And then they just tune out. It's too confusing, too violent, too negative. You start to wonder, why put that into my life? It's a loss of control, a sense that the vehicle you thought you were driving is actually being driven by someone else. It comes with this sense of confusion about the world in which the politics around us don't seem to make any sense, and there doesn't seem to be any way out. This is by design. The confusion, the hopelessness, is not an accident. Maybe once, long ago, we might have believed that the political establishment was working for the people. Corrupt? Sure, but more or less something that worked on behalf of the public. It's what our society still tells us every day. That ever so slowly we're moving toward greater inclusion, greater democracy. Right? Well, maybe not. The confusion and hopelessness are no accident. And there is a reason for this." Unquote. Richard Dolan. False Flags with Richard Dolan. People don't steal because they're naturally bad. They steal because they're thrust into a system that demands thievery. In this system, if you don't steal, you die. Thus, the problem isn't the people, it's the system. In a logical paradigm, you don't have to pay in order to survive. In a rational society, there's no tariff on your life. The ideology itself, let alone the implementation of such, screams mental illness. Yet you consider this quote-unquote healthy and quote-unquote normal. In a sensible civilization, you're simply able to be, which is the way things occur naturally. Think you know better than nature? Well, just keep on opposing it and see how far that gets you. It's already brought you to the brink of nuclear Armageddon, hasn't it? And if you don't believe this system forces people to steal, consider the fact food, shelter, and water were freely available to everyone intrinsically. Since the implementation of this order incarcerating us, these basic necessities have been stolen, and we're now forced to pay for them. If we refuse to pay, these essentials to existence are denied us, and we're murdered as a result. Don't lie to yourselves. Your kids will never escape Earth by following rules of a system designed to destroy them. Why am I even appealing to you? If you cared about your kids, you wouldn't have had them in the first place. If you love an innocent life, you don't bring it into a society in which every member exists under constant threat of nuclear annihilation. You do bring that innocent life into such a pernicious paradigm because you're ignorant of reality, attempting to conform, or both. Again, we exist in an era in which so many speak, but so few say anything. Rather than talk, I write. Complacency, and thus complicity, in our demise is no option for me. Whether it matters or not, I'm incapable of being part of the dark. I have to be part of the light. Perhaps the information I provide will be viewed posthumously, after I depart my physical form. Perhaps it won't. I just need to provide it. Maybe somebody will geocache my work, which is your work as well, since ownership is an illusion, and people will awaken to reality more rapidly than they currently are. Perhaps you'll find this tome at a used book fair and pick it up for pennies. Maybe you'll uncover this publication wedged beneath the jamb to room 641A, as government keeps this door from slamming shut, while relocating its conduit to your innermost thoughts. The latter will never happen, but then again, you follow proven psychotics over a cliff of destruction, so perhaps anything's possible.